So here we are now. We're working on learning the skills of unified process to deliver the technology project plan. There's a lot of pre-reading here. Please go and watch and study this stuff between now and next week. In fact, something else I would like you to watch or read is my PowerPoints on this stuff. So let me put a link to the PowerPoint here too. Audio level test. Yeah. So my mic is working. I turned off my camera. You already know what I look like, but I needed to free up that port for my camera. So before next week, please read and study this material. And especially in particular, read this entire PowerPoint. Agile project management with use cases and UML to do unified process. Very, very important stuff here. And watch the video. So I'm going to be using a bunch of these terms, and you can go here more. You can go and get more in depth into them here. So, for example, things like why is that? Yeah, things like use cases. What's this is unified process, by the way. So, unified process. You can imagine it like a pasta maker. I don't know if you've ever seen a pasta maker, but essentially you just put the dough in there, right? So you put the dough in there, and then you turn the crank, the handle, and pasta comes out. So in the case of unified process now, we present our requirements. That's the thing we get from our users as to how the business domain works. And then you run unified process, and what you get out is the code and the database. So here you can, and I'm not, this is not a software design class. I mean, in a sense, it is a little bit, because if we're going to design our mobile app, we have to use good design methodology. But here we gather the user stories when we're analyzing, when we're figuring out what we're doing, we're studying, we're making a study of how the business domain works and about how the users want it to work. And then we forward generate here using something called lexical analysis. In fact, I guess I better give you my video on lexical analysis as well, because that's something that's going to be involved here. Lexical analysis. Lexical means word, analysis means study. So we study the words that our users give us, that they tell, they describe, and the nouns, which is the thing words, table, person, chair, document, and so on. And then verbs are actions. Approve, whatever is like approve the business process, whatever. Whatever is the action here, they become your methods. So that's what gets us to our UML diagram over here. That's going to be your hand in for your technology design phase. And then finally, the implementation phase. That's where we're going to write. And that's what I will demonstrate. Next week, I will actually make an Android app right from the beginning and showing you how all of this stuff works. But because lexical analysis is how we get from one of these to the next one, I'm going to also give you my video on lexical analysis. And you're going to watch it. Why? Because you're good students, you do what the professor tells you to do, and this is quite important. Shoot. I think I just lost the meeting. Hang on, guys. For some reason, my Chrome is a little bit unstable. It just dies sometimes, and it died, and I lost the meeting. So we're going to go back here now. Oh, that means my Otter AI also died. All right, I'll make a new one. Yeah, sorry guys, are you still with me? Can you still hear me? My my Chrome web browser for some reason it just rolled over and decided to take a nap. So because I'm running the meeting out of Chrome, the meeting I got kicked out, but I'm back now. So hopefully that won't happen again. Yeah, so what I was saying is I'm gonna go and give you the I'm gonna share my video training on lexical analysis. All right, hopefully this isn't gonna kill anything now. This isn't gonna end the meeting again. YouTube. This is a very good video. I just want to. Sorry, guys. I just have to say this. I have to save this because this is some. Just give me a second. I'm worried I won't be able to find this one again later. So let me make sure I can. I'm going to save this link. All right, let's go back to our main scheduled thing now. Yeah, so please watch this video before next week. This talks about how, and this is actually an example from another mobile app course I ran. So this talks about how we go from our description of our requirements, how we forward generate it to UML. Oh, I also lost when my thing crashed. I lost my connection to the assignment document, so I got to go back and reopen that. Just a sec now. All right, now we can carry on. Right, so let's get to work. Now I have my desktop camera up here and going. So what's the first thing that I need? What's my recipe of how I'm going to design a mobile app? And I'm assuming we've already done the marketing. Oh, actually, did I turn my Otter AI back on since the other Otter AI died? Yeah, it ended when my thing crashed, so I'm going to make this again. Okay, guys, think about this logically now. What sequence of steps, remember that little food processor thing, that little pasta maker I showed you a minute ago? What sequence of steps do we need to execute to go from a description of what user wants to the actual working app? And I'm assuming for right now, we've already done the marketing, we've done the feasibility study, we did the plan document, we've done our competitive analysis, we know it's a good idea. We're pretty sure that our big why is there. We have users, we know how to find them, we know how to do advertising, we have our go to market channels. All that stuff is done by now. Now we've got a good product that's ready for people to want to buy it as soon as it's available. How do we go from the description of the requirements, which is the SUD, the system under design? How do we turn the crank on the pasta maker and get an Android app out at the other end? Would be the same thing for iOS, but I'm just going to settle on Android since we also have the Android class together. Let's see. And it's kind of nice to work with this desk camera. It's like the whiteboard if we're in a room together, because when you draw and talk, then it somehow makes it easier to absorb the information than just listening to words. So applying unified process to build the mobile app. Well, we've already figured out that the first thing we need is a concept, right? So we need some app concept, which is going to be desirable by some users to go and use it. So we're going to start with our SUD, which is our system under design, which is our description of our business domain within which the app will live. Now, normally in unified process, I would interview my users to get this. And because I don't have any users right now, I forgot them. I don't know. I left them at home today. Should have brought them with me. I hope they're have enough food to eat in my kitchen. But anyway, we're going to interview users, and we're going to make ChatGPT to be our user to play our role with us. So, and you should do this as well, right? Because I mean, unless you want to come up with the concept yourself, I guess you could do that as well. I'm not that creative. I'm going to use ChatGPT. We all still together, guys? You guys all here? Everybody good? Well, if you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we've got about another 20 minutes, so let's just get this done. So here's my chat GPT. I'm going to say pretend, and I'm going to get Estrilda. I guess she's a custom AI agent. I've been training to do this stuff. Estrilda's pretty smart. Hey, Estrilda. Pretend you are the user who I am designing a mobile app for. For our assignment, developing the technology plan. The more context you can give your AI, the better. So I guess I should provide that to my AI, so I'm going to go and get that. You can turn this into a PDF if you want as follows. Just go up to the top to those three dots and export to PDF. All pages. All right, now I just have to download that somewhere where Estrilda can find it. So I'm going to start by saying, please suggest an app concept which would lend itself well to demonstrating unified process 4. Health and wellness tracking app. All right, that's fine. So I'm going to now note that this is my app concept, health and wellness tracking app. And fitness tracking app. Now, what's the next thing that I need for unified process? Well, I need some requirements because requirements are going to forward generate to UML. So I'm going to ask my user here, my AI, I'm going to ask it to generate requirements in a format that works well with the unified process way of doing things. Please generate user stories and requirements we will use as input to unified process. Wellness Sync app. All right, Wellness Sync app. That's what we're calling it. Now I'm going to make a Google Doc as my sort of control doc to manage this stuff. So that looks pretty good. As a user, I want to log meals and water intake so I can monitor my nutrition and hydration. And here it's telling me what kind of screens I'm going to need to do that. All right, very cool. So I'm going to save this stuff. So your course code here, MO, no, 2023, MO 2023. All right. Now I'm making a little simplification here because normally we would gather the user stories and then we would apply lexical analysis and we would generate the requirements by ourselves from the user stories. However, because this is a mobile app capstone course, it's not explicitly, I mean, we're doing business analysis, we're doing software development. If this was a pure business analysis software development course, I would do it that way. But because we want to focus primarily on the mobile app end of it, I'm just going to take a few little shortcuts here. But you should understand that normally you get the user stories and you generate the requirements using lexical analysis. Now, what's the next step we're going to do? Now, this is where the real learning is kicking in now. Once we have our user stories, we apply lexical analysis, we get a requirements document, and now we have that. We're this far. Now, if we were in the classroom together and if we had more people in the class, I would actually make it group activity for you to study your requirement and do the next part. But it's kind of hard to do that online, and it's also kind of hard to do that in a very small class where we don't have a lot of social energy of people working with each other. So we're just going to kind of jump ahead a little bit, and we're going to understand that our next thing after the requirements document, we're going to get our UML diagram. To do that, we identify, so we study business objects in the business domain, and I'll make some examples of that. In fact, I think next week, right now, I'm just sort of giving you a high level end to end, how does it start, how does it end version. Next week, we're going to break it apart and we're going to spend the entire 2 hours of class just doing each one of these little steps. But for right now, just understand that a business object is anything in the system under design which is very key to making our application work. Let's go and make an example of studying some business objects here. So a user is definitely a business object because if we didn't have a user, we wouldn't have anything to do with our app. The user is a driver and a receiver of a lot of information. Similarly, we have a log. So a log is another example of a business object. Now, nutrition and hydration tracking. What kind of a thing is tracking? Is it a business object? No, this is an activity. This is something that other objects are going to do. This is an application activity. A user is an object. A log is an object. Tracking is an activity. Are meals a business object? No. Meals are not a business object because they are not a core creator or receiver of value. Meals in this case is an attribute. It's going to be an attribute of something else. It's not going to be a core piece of the app, right? So to find your business objects or to identify what a business object is, look for things, look for pieces of the SUD which either create or consume, receive a lot of information pipes. Some things, such as meals below, are not business objects. They are attributes of business objects. There's something else, maybe a log, for example, has an attribute of meals because we're logging our meals. So some things, such as meals, are not business objects. They are attributes. They are little pieces of some other business objects. A journal is a business object because it's receiving a lot of information and maybe it's a driver, maybe it's a creator of activities because we look at our journal from yesterday, then decide how much running to do today. So a journal is a business object. So business objects create or consume information and activities. They might be the target of activities or they might be the generator of activities. Community interaction. As a user, I want to engage with the community. So that the community would be another business object. Notifications are a business object. Reminders are a business object. Daily activities are a business object. Is hydration a business object? No. Hydration is an attribute of another object. This is lexical analysis, what I'm doing right now. I'm studying words. Wellness goals are a business object. and so on. All right, guys, it's 5 o'clock. I'm going to end the class now. We'll pick it up from here next week. We will finish doing this example, and I will generate an Android app from it. If you have any questions, send me an email.